Well, hello, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I just got back from a nice long walk along the river. I was listening to the new Sarah Landon book. I really recommend her books. Start with The Council. I'll put a link to my recommendations down below. It's great. Love that woman. I wanted to kind of riff a little bit on what I was talking about yesterday. In my previous video, I talked about the tiny subject of what happens after you die and before you decide to come back to Earth. What happens in that span? What kind of adventures do you have up there? And how do you prepare for your next mission down here? And believe me, we all chose to come down here on missions. And we all signed a lot of contracts with other souls that are around you, other people that are around you, to challenge each other in different ways, to kind of help each other's souls improve. Because believe it or not, we're all in this together, you know? And sometimes the most challenging things in your life are really challenges that you set up for yourself and you agree to ahead of time so that you could grow and you could learn in a certain way. Now, maybe you grew, maybe you learned, maybe you didn't. I think we all know people in our life that just don't seem to learn the lessons. They just keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. And if you think about I was talking about like your soul is like this beautiful jewel, right? And you have all these facets on it, right? And every time you come down here to the School of Earth, you like clean off more of these dirty spots, right? Which could be, greed or fear. Fear's the big one. Or anger, rage. Could be that like you're so proud. Pride is a big one that you're unable to like forgive people, which is a big one. You're unable to let things go. And if you want to become, I don't mean this to sound self-righteous or anything like that at all, but like if you really want to be like fully awakened and have that chance to live in like love and abundance, you really do have to forgive. And if you think about like, just back up a second, let's go meta and look at the world. Okay, there's a lot of like dark forces at work. I mean, we can see that with the lack of harmony and the violence and the war and just like there's so much shit that goes on that humans do, right? These are all kind of like dark forces. And and this sounds so weird to say, I know, but it seems like there's not enough of us light warriors out there that are spreading love and light and saying, hey man, can't we all just get along? And just being like a solid like pillar of light strength. But you know what? It doesn't have to be like 51%, 49. It only needs to be about like 10% of us, and we can make a big difference, really. And all you really have to do is you don't have to worry about like saving the whole world or saving other people. And it takes a lot for me to say because I have a latent rescuer complex, most of which I'm over, by the way. But all you have to do is really heal yourself and take care of yourself. And that has a very fascinating ripple effect amongst your friends and family. We're all actually swimming in this miasma of energy that we can't see. But like I know that as I work on myself and I heal myself and I try to be healthy and I meditate and I write and I just kind of practice this Zen minimalism, I actually do know it affects other people around me. So you don't have to worry about saving the world. Just work on yourself. And I guess a big thing to think about is what are these these facets of your jewel that you haven't cleaned off yet. I'll give you a trick in forgiveness, or it's something that I picked up along the way, right? Now, I don't even know you. Well, maybe I do know you. Maybe I know you better than you think. But I know there's people that have wronged you in your past, right? No doubt about it, right? And you may find these sins to be largely unforgivable. By the way, the word sin originally means to miss the mark, right? It's not as bad as the Catholic Church and other people have made it sound to be. But anyway, and I know a lot of people have trouble letting go. So how do you do that? How do you do that, Trey? How do you let go? Because this despicable person did this despicable thing to me, and man, it in a lot of ways, people begin to define themselves by ways they've been wronged, or they wrap themselves up in this story about how they were wronged. And they might say, oh, I'm not a victim, but really inside their head, they keep repeating the story about how this person wronged them. And like maybe it came out with their anger, their rage, or whatever. But what they're doing is they're storing their incompleteness inside of you, right? They're renting a room in your house of trauma, right? And you're letting them rent the room. And you can evict them anytime. And the way you evict them from using your energy is to forgive them. And this can be hard in a way, but you kind of have to use that Christ energy, right? That Jesus power, right? Just to forgive and to really mean it. Because otherwise, that person or those people will have energetic control over you. They'll have a strong energetic bond. And every time you tell yourself that story, or worse, you tell other people that story, or even worse, you put it on Facebook as you talk about, like, can you believe this terrible thing that happened to me? And then all your friends come in and they're like, yeah, I can't believe that terrible thing that happened to you. And then really everyone's just complaining. Complainers get together, right? But really these other complainers, they're just waiting for their own turn to complain. Well, they'll be like, well, you won't believe what this person did to me. It's unbelievable. You're like, oh, you poor thing. It's just this weird cycle, right? Where people build up these stories and it makes them even more resilient not to ever forgive, right? But to wish like some grand demise upon the other person. If you really back up and think about it, that's not a very loving approach to it. Really what you want to do is to forgive them and hope that they quickly go through the process so they don't have to hurt anybody else, right? Because they will. That's what they do. Once they're done aiming their rage or anger or whatever on you, they're just going to aim those lasers somewhere else and hurt somebody else. And you really don't want that, right? So the most loving thing to do is to really focus on them. Just let it go, because man, it's gone. There's this old Jack Handy quote, like, if you drop your keys in a river of molten lava, let them go, because man, they're gone. So there's this little loving kindness meditation you can do. Okay, and it's okay if you get angry. That's a natural human emotion. It's best not to express that anger because that just makes things escalate. You want to de-escalate over time. But you can feel the anger, let it burn white hot through you. I do that sometimes. And just scream into a pillow or something. Have your little screaming pillow. It happens. Again, it's a natural human emotion, so it's good to let it come up. Because when you sign up for an awakening, this is something that my shaman said. It sounds weird to say my shaman. It's not my shaman. A shaman said at my last ayahuasca. I just did 4 ayahuascas in a row. I wrote a story about it if you want to read it. I'll link to that below. And they said, like, when you like sign up for an awakening, you're signing up for all the emotions, right? You get the full buffet of being a human. You can't just choose the good ones. And he was a fascinating shaman. He was actually a heroin addict for 10 years. And he goes, if I thought that was rough, just wait till I started my awakening. And there's a certain amount of, dark humor to that. It's true. So what you can do, and this is really tough, and it's a very loving thing to do, but I promise if you do it, you'll feel better afterwards. So this person that wronged you, right? This person that has created this myriad of stories in your head that you keep telling yourself, and maybe you tell other people. They obviously still have some energetic bond over you because you keep telling yourself that story. And if you're sick of it, you're like, I'm tired of this. I'm ready for a new chapter in my life. Well, you could do something. You could do it just once, or you could do it every few days when you think about it. And this helps to like totally break that energetic bond and set you free, because you're meant to be free. You don't want these other people to have any kind of energetic control over you. You don't want them like renting a room in your trauma tower apartments. So you do this loving kindness meditation, right? You definitely let the anger go through you, scream into a pillow, blah, 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 because that's a natural thing. And then after all that, you picture them in your mind, okay? Just picture their face, okay? And just three things. You just picture their face and you say, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of suffering. Just that. Say it 3 times, perhaps, like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of suffering. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of suffering. And really mean it. Like, you really have to mean it, right? Because obviously they are suffering. And that's why they try to put as much of their suffering inside of that apartment they accidentally rented. So you got to be like a good, tough landlord with some boundaries and go in there and just say this, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free of suffering, and really mean it. You don't actually have to forgive them to their face. You don't have to have like an awkward FaceTime or whatever, because who knows how that could go. But you could do it silently and just to them. And that's like really the big step in letting go. And then your mind is free, and you don't have to spend like X% of your day thinking about these people that have wronged you, right? So, I mean, that's just a little trick for you. Because every time you come back to Earth, you're working on new things. Reincarnation is something else. Like, maybe I'll make another video about this, but like, let's say like in a previous life that you had, I don't even know if I want to go down this rabbit hole. Maybe I'll save that for another time. Let's just say in previous lives, you may have really wronged people, all right? History is rough. If you really look at history is rough. Chances are high that you've wronged people. And now they're getting back at you this time, right? Because you're getting the full... Luckily, it does de-escalate over time. Like, I always wonder about my right eye. I'm like fully blackout blind in my right eye. Perhaps you noticed it crossing a little bit. But I think, like, what did I do in my past life? Did I, like, in some jealous fit of rage, did I, like, stab out some guy's eye? Or was I, like, a woman and, like, I stabbed out some other woman's eye? Who knows? If you saw my last video, you saw that you do change sexes many lives. You change roles. People in your family change roles. Sometimes your mom might be your mom, and then she might be your sister in another life. Like, it's wild. It's like a Bollywood movie, right? But you think, like, man, what did I do last life? Anyway, I'll save that for another one. But anyway, thanks for all your comments, and thanks for sharing the videos. And I'm glad you all are enjoying the book. We're still #1 in a bunch of really weird categories. I never thought I would have a book that's #1 in such strange categories. But, that's what life is. Life is a series of surprises mixed in a sea of failures, malaise, and nihilism. But it's going to get better. All right. Love you guys, and see you next time. Bye.